Hi, my name is Joanne from 123stitch.com. I love making my own cording for all of my stitching projects. I use it as pillow trim on the edges of a little cube or on this stand-up. You can use it on anything, any needlepoint, any embroidery, any sewing project that you have. It's nice to be able to make your own cording, use just the colors you want, and get exactly the right size that you want. So I've shown you before in another video how to use the Kreinik custom quarter. I'll have a link to that down below. But now I want to show you the differences between the Kreinik and this new Lacis cord maker and Fringe Twister 3. I'll show you how to make cording with this one. I'll briefly show you how to do the Kreinik quarter again, just so as a little refresher. And then we'll talk about the differences between the two, why you might want to choose one or the other. Before we get started though, please go down below and click on that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And all of the products I mentioned today will also be listed in the description. Okay, we need to talk about a couple of things about making cording in general. You need to determine three things. You need to determine how many colors you want in your cording, how long you need the threads to be, and how many threads you want to use. So this is 2 colors. This one is 3 colors, and I'm using DMC floss in these that were from my design. So that's how many colors you want to do. Do you want to do 2, 3, or more? Now the size is going to be all the way around your design where you want the cording to be. So how to measure it? You can get a tape measure, or you can just simply run your thread around it, mark 1 time around, and then what I do is do 4 times the length. That's going to give me plenty of thread with a little bit extra so that my cording is long enough. So 4 times around, that's 1 length. Now if I'm going to be doing a 2-color cording, which I am in this case, I want 4 of each color, 4 long lengths of each color. How do I determine that? That's going to determine how thick my cording is. So for most small stitched ornament pillow pieces, I like to do a total of about 8 long threads. So 4 of each color in this case. If I'm doing a 3-color cording, I will do 3 of each color for a total of 9. And that's going to give me about the size that I want. Sometimes I'll go a little smaller, like I did in this case. This is 2 of 3 different colors, so a total of 6. And you can go bigger, you can go smaller, but that's what determines how big your cording is. So we've figured out how long the thread is, how many threads we want, and how many colors we're using. So first thing I want to show you is using the Kreinik custom quarter. As I mentioned before, I do have a video where I go in depth on how to use this tool, but I'm going to quickly make a braid here for you and show you how it works. The quarter itself is plastic. It's got a wheel on it and it's got a little hook that spins around. Pretty simple, but it's easy to use as well. So we're going to need, the way I make cording is I use command hooks that I've placed on the table. You can do this different ways, but this is the method I like the best. So I'm going to take each of my 2 colors, fold them in half, and put a knot in the loose end. These are not super even, so let me trim that just a tiny bit. Put a knot in the end here. And move that knot as far down as we can so we get as much thread out of that as we can. We'll do that with the other color as well. Put that knot in the end. And bring that down to the end. Trim that one off a little. Okay, then we're going to put the one end of our little loop here on a command hook. In this case, I'm going to use 1 command hook because these threads are very thin and they're not taking up much room. I'll separate the colors out a little bit. I'll take my quarter and I'll put the hook end right in the middle there, so there's 4 threads on each side. Put the hook in there and I'm going to spin it clockwise or away from me and just spin it until the thread is twisted and starts to kink up if you let it go. I'll show you what that looks like. There we go, kind of kinks up on itself. Then that way we know it's done. We're taking the hook off, We're going to keep the tension on here, and we're going to tape this down to the table. I use tape. I feel like that works fairly well for me. You can use clamps. You can use whatever works for you. Depends on what your surface is as well. So for me, tape works well. Now, if this comes undone, it's not a problem. Just twist it again. So now we're going to take the other color and do the same thing. Put the hook in the end, clockwise until it starts to kink up on itself. A little bit more. There we go. All right, now I'm going to keep the tension on here. I'm going to bring it over to this piece, and I'm going to tape these two pieces together. I'm going to trim the end off, and now I'm going to knot it, keeping the tension on the whole time. Bring the knot to the end. And trim this again if we want. Okay, now we're going to take the hook and place it between the two colors. And this time we're going to spin the opposite way. We're going to spin counterclockwise or towards us. And that's what's going to make our cording. You can see how pretty that is already. And what I like to suggest to do is to make it a little bit tighter than you think it needs to be, because the minute we let go of it, it's going to undo a little bit. So keeping the tension on, I'm taking the hook off, put a knot in this end, pull that towards the end. Now I can take it off the command hoop. You let go and it's going to undo a little bit. Put a knot in this end. And there's our cording. Two-color cording with the Kreinik quarter. Really easy, right? That's not hard to do at all. So this is really good for those smaller projects in my mind, because it's easy to handle. Now, people do the quarter different ways, and you can do longer pieces by having someone hold the end of it, by putting the hook on the end of a door and standing farther back. I just find that this is the easiest method for me. I get the tightest cording with this method, and it works great for those small projects. So let's look at what we do now with the Lacis quarter. Okay, let's look at the Lacis Cord Maker and Fringe Twister 3 now. This is what it looks like. It's a bigger tool. It's got 4 pegs, so the capability of doing 4 different colors. It's battery operated. That just opens on the end here, and then you put in 2 AA batteries. To get the thread on the pegs, you push up on the bottom here, and you can see the little hook on the end. You hook your thread in there. When you release it, it locks it in place. And then it's got a number 1 and number 2 setting here. Number 1 is going to twist the threads individually, and then you switch to number 2 and it does them together. So it's a one-step process. To determine our thread size and colors, we do exactly that like we did with the Kreinik. In this case, I'm doing 3 colors. I have 3 of each color, 3 long strands of each color for a total of 9. And then I've knotted the ends of them again. And what we're going to do is, I think I'll use 3 command hooks this time to keep the threads separated. There we go. All right, because we're twisting the threads individually, we do want to keep them as separated as we can. So we're going to put the colors on the ends of our hooks here, pushing up the bottom, releasing, and that locks it in place. There we go. Now the instructions say that you can keep your fingers in here to keep the threads separated. I haven't really found that to be necessary. The first thing I'm going to do is press number 1, and it's going to twist the threads separately. And we're going to twist them as much as we did before till they start to kink up on themselves a little bit. A little bit more. There we go. I think that might be it. Yeah. Okay, now that the 3 colors are twisted separately, I'm going to press the the quarter to number 2, and you'll see that it's going to twist them together. When you hear the motor start to slow a little and I start being pulled that way, that means it's done. There we go. All right, now to get the hooks off of here, the thread off of the hooks, we just press up, pull the threads off, and then we knot this end. Whoops, and then we pull the threads off of the other end, off of the command hooks, and knot that. And there's our cording, our 3-color cording. See how fast and easy that was? It was a nice one-step process. There was no taping involved. I like the quarter a lot. I found it to be really, really nice. I still like the Kreinik quarter because it's great for small projects. It's simple, nothing fancy. You just do it real quick. This would definitely come in handy for those bigger projects if you're wanting to do like cording for maybe you made a needlepoint pillow and you want some custom cording for it. This would be ideal. What they recommend is like you put the ends of the thread on maybe a towel rack. You can loop them all on there, stand way back, and then you can cord them. Very useful tool. I like it a lot. I think it's great for all of your cording projects, but especially the bigger ones. So now you've seen both of these in action. What do you think? The Kreinik custom quarter or the Lacis cord maker? Or both? I have both, so I'm going to continue to use both of them. This one for the smaller projects, this one when I want 3 or 4 colors in my cording, or when I want it to be a little bit bigger. I hope you enjoyed today's video, but if you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. I read and answer all of your comments, and I love to hear from you. While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and I will see you again soon.